Skol Vikings! Are you ready for this? Because my phone hasn't stopped buzzing with some absolutely wild information. A massive rumor is floating around involving our superstar wide receiver and a potential blockbuster trade to Buffalo that has the whole league talking. Could our franchise cornerstone actually be heading out? Or is this just pure noise from desperate teams? I have the inside scoop on this situation, the reality behind these massive draft pick offers, and why you need to hear the truth before jumping to conclusions. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below your thoughts. The rumors surrounding Justin Jefferson and a potential blockbuster move to the Buffalo Bills have taken center stage in current NFL discussions. This hypothetical trade scenario involves the Buffalo Bills acquiring the Minnesota Vikings superstar receiver in exchange for a massive package consisting of at least 2 future first-round picks, a third-round selection, and additional draft capital. While league insiders consistently maintain that the Minnesota Vikings are unlikely to part ways with their franchise receiver, the persistent buzz highlights how aggressively Buffalo is looking to maximize the Super Bowl window for Josh Allen. The connection between Justin Jefferson and current Buffalo head coach Joe Brady is the primary fuel for these rumors, as their shared history at LSU serves as a foundation for speculation. Jefferson himself has openly credited Brady for his development, citing the coach as a major reason he became a first-round NFL draft talent. Despite the noise, Minnesota remains in a position of complete control, as they have no internal pressure to initiate a move for a player who serves as the centerpiece of their offensive identity. For Buffalo, the allure of pairing the league's most dangerous receiver with a premier quarterback is clear, yet the financial reality presents a significant hurdle. Any potential deal would require substantial restructuring of the Buffalo roster to accommodate the elite-tier salary cap figure associated with Justin Jefferson. This creates a complex financial equation that the front office would need to solve before any actual negotiations could take place. As the offseason continues, the situation remains a major point of interest for analysts tracking how teams prioritize their roster needs, especially when those needs involve high-profile talent currently under long-term contracts with their existing organizations in the league. Why does this matter right now for the team? The potential acquisition of Justin Jefferson would fundamentally change the competitive landscape of the AFC, immediately placing the Buffalo Bills among the top-tier contenders. From a roster perspective, adding a receiver of his caliber alongside existing weapons like DJ Moore would force opposing defensive coordinators to adjust their entire game planning strategy. For Josh Allen, this move would provide the most potent receiving core of his career, theoretically elevating the efficiency of the passing attack to new levels. However, the impact of such a trade extends far beyond the field. The massive salary cap implications mean that the Buffalo Bills would be forced to make difficult decisions regarding other core veterans on the roster. This is the definition of a high-stakes, win-now maneuver, reflecting a willingness to sacrifice future depth and salary flexibility for immediate, high-impact production. For the Minnesota Vikings, the prospect of losing such an integral part of their offense creates a different set of challenges. While acquiring multiple first-round picks would provide significant draft capital, replacing the specific production and field-stretching ability of a player like Justin Jefferson is statistically improbable. The Vikings are currently built around his presence, and his departure would necessitate a complete philosophical shift in how the offense operates on a weekly basis. The team's reliance on his performance is evident in every game plan, and his consistency remains a rare commodity in today's game. Ultimately, the speculation remains a testament to his value as a non-quarterback, confirming that teams across the league continue to view him as a singular talent who justifies the intense focus and the ongoing discussion about his future status. As league executives continue to evaluate the situation, the divide between the aggressive pursuit by Buffalo and the organizational stability in Minnesota remains stark. The rumored asking price of 2 first-round picks is likely just the starting point for any serious dialogue, as the Minnesota Vikings would demand additional premium assets to even consider an exit strategy for their star. Rival front offices recognize that Buffalo is under immense pressure to capitalize on the prime years of Josh Allen, which explains why the Bills remain the team most heavily connected to these trade rumors, despite the lack of official movement. The organizational leadership in Buffalo has clearly prioritized elite playmaking, but they must balance that desire against the reality of the salary cap. Every dollar committed to a new star like Justin Jefferson must be subtracted from other areas of the team, potentially thinning out the roster in secondary positions. Minnesota, by contrast, operates from a position of leverage. They have no urgent need to move forward with a trade, and can afford to ignore any offer that does not meet an extraordinary threshold of value. This dynamic creates a stalemate where the rumors persist due to the obvious fit, even as the actual probability of a deal remains very low. The constant mention of Skol among the passionate fans of the Minnesota Vikings serves as a reminder of how deeply ingrained the star receiver is in the culture and the expectations of the organization. Moving such a central figure would be a decision of historic proportions, impacting not just the current season, but the long-term trajectory of the franchise as they navigate the complexities of building a sustainable and competitive roster in an increasingly difficult league. The connection between Buffalo and the Minnesota Vikings via this potential trade remains a hypothetical exercise in aggressive team building that ignores the logistical realities of the current NFL landscape. Insiders continue to report that Minnesota has expressed no desire to move their franchise player, viewing him as the cornerstone of their long-term plans. The Buffalo Bills, meanwhile, face the challenge of reconciling their win-now goals with the restrictive nature of their current salary cap situation. Adding the massive contract of an elite-tier receiver requires more than just draft assets. It requires a systematic dismantling of the financial structure that keeps the current roster competitive. While the rumors are intriguing, they highlight the growing divide between the urgency felt by teams with elite quarterbacks and the reality of asset management. For the Minnesota Vikings, the focus remains on leveraging the talents of Justin Jefferson to reach their own competitive goals. Their commitment to keeping him is a clear sign that they view him as irreplaceable. Any discussion of a departure is effectively neutralized by the lack of any credible motivation for the organization to trade away their best defensive asset. For the Buffalo Bills, the offseason narrative has become a trial of how far a team will go to secure a championship, with trade rumors serving as a proxy for that ambition. The focus for both organizations remains fixed on their respective internal goals, with the trade speculation acting as an external commentary on the state of the league. Despite the persistent links in the media, the status of the player remains unchanged, as he continues to be the central piece of the Minnesota offense, preparing for the upcoming challenges of the competitive regular season ahead. The current situation surrounding the potential movement of Justin Jefferson serves as a perfect case study in how rumors can overshadow organizational reality during the offseason. The Buffalo Bills have positioned themselves as the team most willing to explore high-risk, high-reward scenarios, but the obstacles presented by salary cap constraints and the specific demands of the Minnesota Vikings make this a highly improbable outcome. The narrative has consistently moved back and forth between the perceived need for Buffalo to add more explosive playmaking and the defensive stance of Minnesota, which maintains that its star player is not on the trade block. League observers are well aware that the asking price would be astronomical, likely far exceeding the initial rumors of 2 first-round picks. This reality check is often lost in the excitement of the proposal, yet it remains the most critical factor in why no deal has materialized. For the Buffalo Bills, the path forward likely involves more conventional roster building rather than the pursuit of a blockbuster that would fundamentally alter their financial structure for years. For the Minnesota Vikings, the path is even clearer. They have a franchise cornerstone in his prime and are focused on maximizing his production within their existing system. The reality of the league is that marquee talents like Justin Jefferson are rarely moved, and when they are, it requires a unique set of circumstances that are simply not present in this scenario. As the dust settles on these rumors, the focus for both teams shifts back to the upcoming season and the practical work required to compete at the highest levels. The discussion surrounding this trade, however, will likely persist as long as the Buffalo Bills seek to bolster their offense and the Minnesota Vikings continue to showcase one of the most dynamic talents in all of professional football.